me, many of you would have quoted some random numbers when a client is asking you for your proposal, right? Hi, I'm Radha, co founder of Astravue, and I've been a freelancer. I've been running a service company for the last 6.5 years, and this is brought to you by us from our personal experience. So, every time a customer asked me, I always threw some random numbers because I understood the number of hours that it would take for me to estimate, but I never had a proper framework to see whether it will actually result in profit or not. And at the end of the project, we usually do a cost center analysis, and that only happens at the end of the project and when the client has paid and so on, right? But what if there is a tool which can predict this and which can tell you or which can help you code better, right? That is Laabam.pro, powered by Astravue.com. Laabam in Tamil means profit. So this estimator is a microservice that's brought to you by us to make sure that you know what you're getting into and what will be your profit number. I'm just going to give you an example here. Let me just quickly log in. Yeah. So let's say a client wants to start the project on Monday, and I've estimated it for about to be 300 hours, and on an average my team spends about 6 hours a day and 5 days a week. I want the profit to be at a minimum of 40%, and I would have 3 people working on it. So which is, I have Syed, my developer head, who will be clocking 6 hours exclusively on this project, and my cost for Syed is $40, and my billable hour for Syed is at $60, and I want the billable ratio to be 100%. And the next is, I have Danny, the designer, who would be spending about 2 hours per day on this, and my cost for him would be $35, and the billable rate, I'm just fixing it as $50 for this client. And next I have is Sampurna, the delivery head, so wherein she would be spending about 1 hour every day on this, and my cost for her is $60, and I'll be billing her at $80, and I want the billability ratio to be at 80%, because the internal coordination might take some time, so that should be non-billable, and that's 80%. So let me see how much should I quote. So the team capacity put together is 8 hours per day, and it will take me 37.5 days, and the actual project end date excluding the weekends is 25th of June. So the amount that I need to quote for me to get a profit amount of 40%, which is 8250, I should be quoting $20,000. Now let's say the client is not having that much of a budget, so I can reduce my profit to 30%, and I'm also reducing the billable rates for some of the employees by a bit, right? Just for this client. So then the amount to be quoted becomes this, and this is your profit margin of 30%, and this will be your profit amount. Let's quickly see the breakup of this. So 300 hours that you get targeted, this is the calculated cost of your expenses, this is the calculated revenue, and the amount to be quoted. So you have this as your profit margin, right? And the average billable ratio is 93.33%. If I keep this to 100% again, then this is the amount that you need to quote, and your calculated revenue will increase a bit because you're not losing any money on the non-billable hours, right? So this is your cost breakdown, and this is your revenue breakdown, and the formulas are also mentioned here. Now, as much as you want to run this estimator, there is no cost, but if you would like to save this and compare it with other projects, I'm just going to go to project A, and saving it would cost 0.5 credits. So you can top up this with a minimum of $3. So for $3 you would be able to take about 6 quotations, and we would have a lot more features coming into this because we are coming up with predictions, as I said earlier, where this is just the V1 of it. We would also bring in resource utilization into this, the load on who is working on what, and we'll also bring in some skill sets, all of these functionalities into this to make sure that you have a very clear visibility in terms of your talents, team, and the amount that you're going to get. So try this out and let us know your feedback. Thank you.